Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, racing season officially begins this weekend, and Mr. Roundy Round, Rodney Rodriguez, joins us to call the play-by-play. Later, Konrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin.
Yep.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this chilly Saturday morning here in the Houston area. Joining us right now, Rodney Rodriguez. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Oh, sorry. No, are you unmuted?
It's on his end.
It's on your end. You got to unmute yourself. You know about unmute? There you go.
You know, you'll get this broadcasting stuff down pretty good there, Rodney.
No, you hit it. You hit it twice, and you're muted again.
Uh-oh.
No, you muted again.
There we go. Now we're good.
Yeah.
Now we're good.
How long you been in radio?
Yeah, really? Uh-huh.
I know, right? It's like, people tell me I talk too much, so I just kind of keep my stuff muted.
He's got to call the race twice.
Now, did you just get out of bed?
No. I wish. Today's a full day. Today is just a totally full day. So it started early. But I was laughing when you guys were talking about on that review about getting home late with a very loud car. We used to, there was nothing like dropping a brand new engine in a short track race car, and you're done at 3 a.m. and it's like, well, we got to see if it's going to start. And you're like in the middle of the neighborhood.
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
On yet, none of that stuff.
Now, not only does Roddy call play-by-play at racetracks around the United States, he's also a racer himself. Mm-hmm. Do you have a race car now?
I do, but I don't race it. But I was actually talking to some folks during the week, and I think I know of at least 2 opportunities to be behind the wheel this year. So it's, I tried to not do that because you get behind the wheel and it's like you're ready to do it full time again. It's like
a little teaser doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they need to have a special announcer class. And I could probably borrow somebody's car. I don't mind losing.
You got a Corvette,
but I think that's not that kind of race car. Thank you. That's not going to happen. But I think that the announcer class. What do you think?
They did it one year. They used to do like a special announcer race somewhere. I think it was up in North Texas, and they invited me to come out. But I was like, I was a full-time racer at that point. I mean, I was doing both. I was like announcing and racing.
I think you should do it. Announcing
as
while
you're
driving.
driving. Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
Holy cow!
the race.
This moron ahead of me! Get him out of
my way!
Put him in the fence.
That would have to be like on Showtime or something because
absolutely.
It would be extremely graphic.
Rubbing his racing.
We're your biggest fan, and I can only imagine we're gonna make you a rich man with all these great ideas we've got for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's settle down and let's talk about this. I guess this weekend marks the beginning of the official racing season.
Yeah, in mainstream circles it does because we're at Daytona and they've been there all week. The Rolex 24 was a couple of weeks ago, so that actually kind of fired everything off, and then the Busch Light Clash that they had at the LA Coliseum kind of kicked off the NASCAR stuff. This is really the one where NASCAR has every year that Fox has the Super Bowl, which they did this year. It's always really a good thing for NASCAR because you get as the NFL season winds down, those final 4 weeks or whatever, you start getting that Daytona 500 push lumped into all of those conference championships and Super Bowls, and that's what's happened this year. And I think that the place, Daytona's sold out, camping sold out. The fan zone is sold out. So I think they're going to be in a really good place. And this is all whether the weather cooperates or not, which I think it should. I think that the TV ratings are going to be really good for this and get in front of a bunch of new people.
I was going to say, what's the drama behind the scenes with these new drivers and people moving around teams and that sort of stuff?
I think the biggest thing this year is obviously the move with Kyle Busch. all the years they're driving for Joe Gibbs, and they can't get him any sponsorship, and he moves over to RCR, which was of course the Earnhardt car, the Earnhardt team for so long, and now here's Kyle Busch with a full inventory of sponsors that Richard Childress has been able to get for him. He's in a car that last year won three races, so he's in a really good spot. I think this is a rejuvenated Kyle Busch. He's feisty as ever already. I think this is a year where we're really going to follow the storyline of Kyle Busch, just trying to prove to everyone that he is still the man.
Rowdy.
Yeah, because I think the whole situation with we can't get you any sponsorship, Kyle. I think that's something that for a competitor like Kyle Busch is really going to rub at him, and he's got a point to prove.
What did you think about that I still don't quite understand fully? The thing that nobody went to in the Rose Bowl, that silly race out, huh?
The Clash.
Yeah. Oh, man. What is that? What is that? Explain that to me, would you?
I really have no problem with that, to be honest with you, because I grew up at, quarter-mile short tracks, obviously not that fancy. The ones I went to were pieces of junk, but, I like the concept, and it's not really a new concept because back in the 40s, they raced not obviously NASCAR stock cars, but back in the 40s, they raced midget cars. Is that all right to say? I always say every time I say midget car.
Yeah.
Little people cars.
Yeah.
That's right. They raced midget cars there in the LA Coliseum, and then back in the 50s, they ran at Wrigley Field. So it's not really a new thing. And I mean, one of the biggest fan popular racetracks is a place in North Carolina called Bowman Gray Stadium.
Yeah.
And that is essentially an old football field that they run around, and they sit there and beat the tar out of each other and fight and do all of this. So it's not a new concept, but it's a new concept for NASCAR. And I think where NASCAR is getting kind of the response like yours, Don, is it's all the other Mickey Mouse stuff. I mean, I don't need the music. I don't need all of that. Yeah, I don't need that.
Listen, I grew up on half-mile asphalt racetracks, as you know. We've talked about that. Myers Speedway, Houston, Texas. That was my thing. I love short track racing. That's our thing. You, Gina Child-Knowles over there in Alabama. I mean, the whole thing is just great, but to have it a specially made track in a historic Rose Bowl with millions of seats and nobody shows up, there's definitely something lacking there. And they do this wide shot. There's nobody there.
And they're giving away tickets to USC students and then going up there and interviewing them, and they have no clue what they're looking at.
Right. Exactly. And it just doesn't work. Put it at a racetrack. I think it would do much better.
Gina needs a halftime show, and she could
Gina needs to get out there and tell them how to do it and let her run it.
She could get Elton John or something for halftime.
It's definitely an exhibition. I mean, to make no bones about that. But it's a matter of NASCAR just trying to capture that market, and that LA market. I mean, back when the season actually used to start back in the 70s. It started at Riverside.
Oh yeah,
they would race. Yeah. They'd race at Riverside in the early part of January, and you were off, and then we went to Daytona. But, I mean, they tried to – Ontario, that one, they just couldn't get that one. They really want that Southern California market to just tie itself in. But those folks are not going to sit and watch a 3.5-hour race.
I got an idea. Why not do a street race? How about the Long Beach race?
Well, that's actually where I was going, because this year they'll do –
Chicago.
The Chicago race. And we'll find out what's going to happen with that.
It's the drive-by 500, isn't it?
The drive-by 500.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how that works out. But now they're talking about tapping into New York, which I'm not sure about that. I say go to Canada. I mean, go to Canada.
Get the double tap.
I was in Mexico a month and a half ago, and I talked to all these different people, and they're like, "We love NASCAR. Do it in Mexico. Do it somewhere else. I mean, it doesn't have to be one of these major hubs."
Well, I totally agree with you, because look at the success, I think, of the NFL going to Europe and playing exhibition. Well, they're not actually they're actual games that count. Yeah. But to them, they pack the stadiums over there. Give it something new. Give it a different twist, but not the Rose Bowl.
Go to Australia and make right turns.
City. Yeah.
There you go. That's it. All right, so let's talk about short track here for a while. Let's talk about Gina over there in Mobile, and anything else you want. We don't. What do we have here in Texas that's left in an asphalt?
Well, here, Houston, March 11th, I think, is when that fires off. So,
are you announcing that?
Not that I know of. I haven't been invited.
Okay.
So,
Neither have I.
Neither have I. But now I'll tell you, with Gina's, that April 1st one, that's the opening day for that one. And that you want to talk about starting out with a sprint, man. That is a super late model. Davidson Electric 125. We did that race last year there with the SRL National Tour. We have some of the best hot shoes in the country that'll come be blazing up that half mile. That's going to be one to see. It's going to be an interesting year for short track pavement racing. With just various new organizations and a lot of competition, trying to keep the cost factor in line. It's going to be an interesting year for short track racing on dirt as well.
Yeah.
You guys have 105 there that has a full schedule out in Cleveland. I think they start there around the same time as the pavement track. And same situation right there, where I think it's a matter of all of these racetracks comes down to cost. I mean, how are you going to keep this cost effective for people to be able to do this and be able to do it for fun? That's going to be the storyline all year that we're going to be monitoring all year in short track racing.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to anything spectacular after the Daytona 500 is concerned in NASCAR?
Well, obviously, I guess, what are we, just over a month out? They'll actually be here in my backyard. They'll hit Dakota. So that's always a fun event right there.
As long as it doesn't rain buckets.
Yeah. They still need oars and a canoe.
And I'll tell you where it really sucks, because it happened last year, and I think it happened again. It's happening again this year, to where the weather was great last year, but at the same time you had the PGA here. I mean, so you had the Cup race out in southeast Travis County, and then up in northwest Travis County, you had the PGA golf event happening out on Town Lake or whatever it is out there. And it's like, man, you're splitting the audience, but I know there's only a certain amount of dates, but I think the Dakota thing is good. I mean, to me, it's just on that racetrack, and to watch the Austin crowd, to me, is a lot like what you guys are talking about there with the Southern California people. Mm-hmm. It's like, I go to Dakota for a NASCAR race, and I'm like a genius, because nobody knows anything.
We think you're a genius.
You keep thinking that, Rodney.
I always joke around, because I tell people it's so cool to go to the Sunday NASCAR race here, because like the ladies are dressed up like the Kentucky Derby. You know, big old hats on.
Yeah.
There's dudes in suits, and I'm like, man, it's going to be 85 degrees out here. What are you doing? It's like, it's a racetrack.
Yeah, we need some.
Yeah, but those dudes in suits are spitting tobacco.
Yeah. And they're up in the suites.
This is Texas.
Yeah, they're up in the suites.
Exactly. So that'll be fun. I mean, for me, obviously that's the first one, but there's lots of. I mean, just the whole schedule. I mean, everything. They're going to some different places that are exciting. Man, I'm looking forward to IndyCar. I'm ready for IndyCar.
Have you ever been to Talladega?
I've never been to Talladega. That's as much as I'm in Alabama now, for crying out loud. I need to go, but I want to go there. Here's a funny story. I actually had an opportunity that I found out about like 3 days ago to be in Daytona in a suite this weekend. But it's like, that little thing called a real job and airfare kind of got in the way.
Yeah. Well, we're familiar with that for the most part. I can definitely relate. So how does your schedule look this year? Are you booked every weekend?
No, actually, I'm not. I'll have the Mobile dates. I've got coming up on March the 18th. The weekend of March the 18th, I'll be doing the Rattler, which is a huge short track race. That's over at South Alabama Speedway. I'll have that one. Have a couple of other dates in Alabama as well. So it'll be a lot of Alabama for pavement. And then for Texas, probably be doing some Corpus Christi stuff, some Waco. And at this point, that's all I know of. But it's still going to be a lot. But the thing is, between Dirty Air and Revved Up and Revved Up ATX on the radio. I mean, that it's every week.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's my next question. So tell everybody about your own show that you've got, not only there in Austin, but on the internet as well.
Yeah, the Revved Up Sports Show, that's our original program, and that one tailors a lot more to Texas, and we try to, of course, it's become a Texas dirt show more than anything, because that's what we have. But at the same time, I like to filter in, a good influx of individuals that have done a lot of good things in the state over time. The Texas Legend Series is what I call that, and just let those folks tell their stories. I mean, it's so cool for them. I get so much gratification after talking to like George Hagee, for example, last week. He was just a great racer out of San Antonio, and he's like, I'm surprised people would want to hear my stories. And it's like, dude, we are yearning to hear those stories.
Sure, absolutely.
Things are so different. And then Dirty Air, obviously on Racing America on Thursdays, that one right there, that's full-blown Southeast, short track racing coverage right there with Mobile and Pensacola and, out to Georgia. And I get to talk to guys from all across the country on that one. And that one's done really well, and we'll continue to grow that one.
Yeah. And, well, it's always great to talk to you. And I know that you're going to be the next Dale Earnhardt kind of talk show. And and you're going to go in wheel time.
Who?
I vaguely remember those guys. Yeah, forget them.
Guys, what gets frustrating, and I would hope that y'all feel the same way, is we've been doing this way before they ever thought of doing it.
That's right. Yes.
Isn't that the sucky part?
Yeah, that is.
I was talking to a business acquaintance the other day, and he's like, "You know what you ought to do? You ought to do a racing podcast." I'm like, "Dude,
where have you been for the past 12 years?
We had one for almost 15 freaking years, and nobody knows it.
We know the feeling.
Well, Rodney, you're a 15-year overnight success.
There it is. That's right.
Well, we love you, man. It's always great to talk to you, and hopefully I'll get to run into you at some point this year.
You got it, Don. We got to go raise some hell somewhere.
Well, we're definitely going to do that. All right, brother. Well, stay in touch, and we'll be in touch with you as well. All right, take care.
Thank you, Rodney.
Rodney Rodriguez, Revved Up Sports, Dirty Air, among other things. He jocks records. He races race cars. I mean,
very cool guy.
Yeah, most definitely.
And
all right.
He's just like that in person. Don.
He's just like that in person, too.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody that we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History.
Oh, boy.
And Konrad is chomping at the bit.
So this week in 1989 was when Mazda debuted the Miata, the little roadster with a big personality. The car's been turning heads ever since, putting smiles on drivers' faces, and is a huge part of Mazda's racing program, their road racing program. And Mazda provides just a boatload of support for the Miata racing programs. It's a little bit nostalgic because Mazda tried to duplicate the British Roadster in the Miata, except this one works because it doesn't have Lucas wiring on it. So, but Miata's been quite a hit. In 1998, Dale Earnhardt Sr. finally won the Daytona 500.
I watched a repeat of that just this week on the internet. Wow. And everybody came out of the pits.
Yeah, this is everybody came out to congratulate him after so many years of finishing near the end, but sometimes,
running out of gas.
Right.
Yeah, stuff like that.
So, and then in 2000 this week, Chrysler released the PT Cruiser begins production. When the car first went on sale, demand often outpaced supply. And the PT Cruiser won the 2001 North American Car of the Year award.
I had one as a company car.
So that says a lot about the taste of
what year was that?
2000.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, my friend.
And then in 2001 this week was when Dale Earnhardt Sr. lost his life at the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
The pictures were flipped. That's
okay. What a sad day that was. And with that, it brought a lot of new safety features to NASCAR itself with the Hans device and we had the guy on with the Hans with one of the Hans devices,
Yep.
and the softer walls and stuff. So very much a sad day. In 2008, in an attempt to cut costs, struggling General Motors offered to buy out 74,000 of its hourly employees in the United States. The move came after GM lost $38 billion with a B dollars in 2007.
Great management there.
Yeah, and they kept
That's all of it.
their jobs, but everybody else lost theirs.
Right.
Me being one of them. After being involuntarily separated. So, in GM's ingenious way of doing business, they let the field engineers go. So we were the guys who were feeding back what the current product issues were to engineering and the assembly plants. Well, we don't need you. We need all the senior executives who make all the bad decisions that cost GM all the money.
And he's not bitter about it at all.
Next week he's going to tell us how he really feels.
After losing $38 billion in 2007, which at the moment was the largest loss ever experienced by any car maker, 2 weeks later in February, they adjusted that loss to $43 billion because they underestimated $38 billion. So they added another $4.6 billion to it. And then in, what was it?
Was Joe Biden running the company then?
Yeah. Hold my beer. Or hold my fully documented Corvette.
Hold something.
Yeah. And then
Hold this.
in 2014, in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the GM plant that has been pumping out Corvettes since '91 is just a quarter mile away from the National Corvette Museum. And that was when the sinkhole happened at the National Corvette Museum, and all those cars fell into the sinkhole. Some very, very unique Corvettes fell into the sinkhole. They got all of them out. They actually restored a significant amount of them.
They only lost 3, I think.
And some of them they kept in the damaged state
Yeah, they did.
and still have them on display. You ever been to National Corvette Museum?
Not yet.
You know, the odd thing is it's really just across the highway from the plant. And I would think if there's a sinkhole underneath the museum, is there a sinkhole somewhere underneath the plant?
Waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And then, so it swallowed 8 of the museum's prize cars. Now, some of those cars were on loan from General Motors. A lot of those cars there at the museum are on loan from owners as well. And then the museum stores them, keeps them up, keeps them clean. Kind of a nice perk to the owners. But, so that was in 2014.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
this week in auto
Oh,
history.
you're done now. Okay. Okay. My daughter is very pregnant, and I'm going to.
They
have
know what
my
causes that, Don.
I'm going to have my first grandchild.
Yay.
It looks like this weekend.
Cool.
The latest of Monday, but
This weekend.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you're on call.
He's on call for the baby.
It's not my baby. It's my grandchild. So
Yeah.
I don't. They'll take care of
I
it
would-
if
I
I'm
would-
not there. But
I
I'm
would hope
planning
it's
on
not your
being
baby,
there.
Don.
We need to get the news chopper over to the hospital.
Yeah.
No, we don't. But thank you very much for playing. All right, time now for some of the headlines, some of the stories making headlines this week in the automotive world. Tesla recalling nearly 363,000 vehicles equipped with or pending installation of its full self-driving beta software because of an increased risk of crash. Recall covers certain 16 through 23 Model S and Model X electric vehicles, as well as certain 2017 through 23 Model 3s and 2020 to 23 Model Y vehicles. NHTSA on Thursday said the automaker's self-described full self-driving software, quote, may allow the vehicle to act unsafe around intersections. Act unsafe. Such as traveling straight through an intersection while in a turn-only lane, entering a stop sign-controlled intersection without coming to a complete stop. Who doesn't do that? Or proceeding into an intersection during a steady yellow traffic signal without, quote-unquote, due caution.
So it drives like a Texan.
So
That's right.
if a policeman sees the car rolling a stop sign, who gets the ticket?
Elon.
Elon gets the ticket.
Email Elon. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
at Elon at inwheeltime.com.
Other recalls, fuel pump may not provide sufficient fuel to the Chevy Equinox and the GMC Terrain for 21 to 22 models. Airbag cover panels may break during deployment on the BMW 230i and the M240i for 23. Engine control unit software may cause a stall on the Toyota RAV4 Prime. That's a 2021 model year. In the 23 Blazer and Traverse from Chevrolet, the half-shaft assembly is missing a retaining ring. Wait, didn't I just see the axle and the wheel just pop past me by on the roadway?
Picked a fine time to leave
As
me
the
loose
car
wheel.
noses over and slides to a stop.
Yeah,
Skids to a stop.
Half shaft may separate from the transmission.
No.
On the Cadillac XT5
What?
and the GMC Acadia for 23.
Oh, we can't have that.
An operative rear view camera display doesn't work on the Honda Fit and the HR-V 18 to 22. From the 17 to 19 model years, the Chevy Silverado 2500, 3500, same thing for the Sierra. The rear fuel tank failure may cause an engine stall. You think? Ain't got no fuel,
No gas.
Maudine.
No gas.
Disabled front passenger airbags, BMW 760i and the BMW i7 for 23. The riding mode feature inadvertently has been deactivated, kind of like a lawnmower, on the BMW S1000R and the BMW S1000XR for the 22 and 23. I have no clue.
I
I've
think
never
that's
heard
a
of such a thing.
motorcycle.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't know, so I thought I'd just throw that in there. And by the way, if you hear some loud banging and
Let
some
that guy in.
other crazy stuff like a construction site, there's a new construction site that's popped up right behind our studio here, and it will be there probably for the next 6 months, so we might as well get used to
And
it.
they're back there with the backhoe.
Well, I think
and
today's
dump
the heavy
truck.
stuff.
Yeah,
They got to dig the hoe.
Time now for a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod, Classic, Resto Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right, free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Konrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.